You know on the beat every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckeyser here with the Man Hour Show at manhourradio.com. Check out the blog section, of course, check out the merchandise section as well. We got new merch dropping and new blogs dropping each and every day over there. Welcome to the afternoon show, 2 p.m. East Coast time, every Monday through Friday with the man and the myth and, of course, the legend, Brandon Beastie Combs. What's up, BC?
What is going on, Michael Buckeyser? What is going on, Man Hour Nation? Man, it's been a good couple of days for me as a Cubs fan.
Yeah, you got to see a walk-off, and then you got to see another walk-off, right?
No, they lost the first game, but then I got to see a walk-off last night. It was a really good game, too, by the way.
Yeah, I watched it.
It was a lot of fun.
I watched it because I was my man, and I was actually wearing my Cubs hat, so...
Nice.
And it's funny is that Rivers' baseball team is called the Cubs too. So it's a match made in heaven, man. Match made in heaven.
So they're winning the championship then?
Probably not, but you know, we have a lot of girls on the team, but it is what it is.
Hey, girls can play ball too?
Yeah, just not these girls. But you know.
Oh, okay.
It is what it is. But they do have the best coach in the league, and that is me. So we will.
Oh God.
That's
why they can't win the championship.
We'll definitely get them right. We'll get them squared away here pretty soon here. But, guys, it is Overreaction Tuesday right here on the Tuesday edition of Man Hour, 2 p.m. East Coast time. We're going to talk a little bit about Aaron Rodgers to the Jets because we got to talk about that. Those trade talks are stumbling. Lamar Jackson to the Commanders. What? Best off-season moves. And, of course, we got to banter all day long. But, Combs, we're going to start with your eye test today. Are you ready for your eye test?
Yeah, let's do it. It's going to be a short one.
It's just like you. Just like you.
I'm Irish.
It is time for Combs' eye test.
So, Combs' eye test is kind of a broad spectrum, right? I kind of look at a little bit of everything. It doesn't always have to do with on-field action or what organizations are doing inside of an organization. But this Combs' eye test goes out to all of you that like to do your NFL mock drafts. It makes no sense to do an NFL mock draft. An NFL mock draft is the same as an NFL combine. You're throwing the ball around in shorts and you're not doing much. And you're not doing much with a mock draft. What exactly are you accomplishing with these mock drafts? Half the time, we've got people doing mock drafts in January and February and March before free agency has even begun. So you've got guys taking, quarterbacks or running backs or wide receivers, of which they've already picked up in free agency, and they're not going to draft. You have no clue what the GMs are thinking. These mock drafts mean absolutely nothing, and half of them are stupid. They have people making 7 trades to move up to take a guy that they want to take. The mock drafts are dumb. Stop with the mock drafts.
100% facts, Combs. 100% facts on that, because let's just be honest. Most of the mock drafts that are out there right now are full of people that have no clue what they're talking about 9 times out of 10. And let's just be honest, most of them are probably the same anyways, right? Most people probably go see what Adam Schefter's doing and like, oh, let me just go ahead and move this guy up one and this guy down one. That's basically what it is at the end of the day. Let's just be honest about it.
And even Mel Kiper's mock drafts are just like you look at 2 trades up for quarterbacks and an A haul for the Lions. Like, how do you know?
You don't know, but they do have some type of insights, I guess. They do have the GMs in their pockets. They do know the team needs, the team's wants. Like things are
We
out
all
there.
know what the team needs and the team wants are.
Do we
We
though?
all know what they're looking at, but we don't know. You don't know what's going to be available. We don't know if Carolina's going to select a quarterback at number 1 or if they're going to trade back. If they're going to use that number 1 pick to gain assets.
Yeah,
We don't know until the night of the draft. Like it's great. It's like I could just spot off a name. Like with the 3rd round pick, the Bears are going to select, Michael Buckheister from the University of Kansas State.
Sweet. About time.
Nobody's ever going to know whether or not I was right around, because by the time the draft comes around, nobody remembers what your mock draft was because you put out one every week.
Yeah.
And they're always different.
I mean,
they're stupid.
I get it. But do you want to know what's stupid? Let me tell you what stupid is Combs. And this is Buck's thoughts for the day. What is stupid is my man Will Levis from the University of Kentucky. This man, first things first, Combs, he put Diet Dr. Pepper, ice cubes, and milk, mixed it together, which I tried it last night, and it's not terrible. It kind of tastes like a Dr. Pepper milkshake. But then this man took it one step further. He comes out on it was some interview, and he says, and the question is, what is your favorite drink that you've ever had? And this man says mayonnaise and coffee. Mayonnaise and coffee. What in God's green gracious are we?
So
what? First of all,
mayonnaise and coffee.
Mayonnaise and coffee, Combs.
Oh.
What is wrong with this kid? What is
so much?
Yeah, and Jim just come out and said it too. He said, I wanted the Raiders to draft Levis until I found out he put mayo in his coffee. Like, first things first. We all have some weird quirks about us, right? And
right.
He had to learn that from somebody, either his dad, his mom, his grandpa. Who was the first person to put mayo in coffee? And why would you put mayo in coffee? Like, were you out of milk one day? Like, hey, this is white. So let me put a little bit of mayo in it.
Yeah.
And Mark Lewis popping in the chat here. He says he is disgusting, bro. Just yuck.
It is disgusting. And not only that, but come on, man. If you like stuff like that, you don't have to let everybody know. You can just keep that a secret.
It just yeah. Oh yeah. And Jim brings up a excellent point. So me and my brother-in-law were talking about this during my birthday party last night. And how do you eat a banana, Combs? You peel off the little peel, right, and you eat the inside of it, right?
Yeah.
Will eats the whole banana. He doesn't peel. He's like, peel and all.
Dude. First of all, happy birthday, Michael Buckheister.
Thank you, sir.
Second of all, no. No. You don't eat the whole banana, like the peel and everything. I think Will Levis is going to be a beast on the field.
Yeah.
I do. But I'm really concerned about his dietary habits.
Well, first things first, have you seen his arms? Have you seen those guns? This man is ready to prepare for Mr. Olympia right now. So maybe we are living life wrong. Maybe we need to put mayo in our coffee so we can vomit everything that we've had the night before. Perfect dietary supplement. Maybe we can
not happening.
Maybe we can eat the whole banana so it comes out whole out of her butthole, and so we never want to eat again.
That's not happening either. That's very disturbing.
When I was a kid, Combs, I would peel the orange, and I was like, I wonder what this orange peel tastes like. One or twice, right? Not very good.
Yeah, that's crazy.
At what point you're like, let me try this banana peel. Great, this is awesome. It adds a little crunch to it. I don't know. It seems very, very, very dumb to me.
Yeah, that's gross.
And then Jim says, why don't you start drinking Bud Light too? So I am a Bud Light drinker, right? I like my Bud Light. I have officially drank the last Bud Light of our house. We are switching to Lipton hard tea, actually.
Well, come on, why?
Because I don't I don't care if you're transgender. I don't care if you're this, or this, but I don't like it being jammed down my throat.
Well, I understand that, but if you opened up Bud Light and I'm trying to think of a team that you wouldn't like. What's a team in football that you just don't like?
Broncos.
The Broncos. If they had a Broncos can, would you stop drinking it?
Well, they do have a Broncos can. They have all 32 NFL teams.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's the same thing. It goes for both ways. Like, to me, the whole argument is stupid, right? Because the people that are against the can are the same people that were like, it's just a Confederate flag. Why are you guys worried about the flag? The flag never owned any slaves. And the same people that are bitching about the people that are bitching about the can are the same people that were bitching about the Aunt Jemima and the Indians logo and the Redskins logo. Like, so those guys
are two different people, Combs. Let's just be honest.
Well, no, the people that don't want you to be mad about the can are the same people that wanted the Indians to change their logo, are the same people that wanted Aunt Jemima's image off of the bottle because it was racist.
Right.
Like, it's all stupid. It's all contradictory. Like,
yeah,
everybody gets mad about one thing, but then when it for whatever agenda you want to push, and it supports that agenda, it's all of a sudden like, oh, well, I'm going to go this way, when it contradicts everything you were saying about the other argument.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see what you're saying, and I definitely support what you're saying because I am in the same boat. It just I'm tired of stuff being shoved down my throat. Like, that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. We're tired of being force fed.
So you don't like transgenders shoving things down your throat?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
gotcha.
I mean,
fair.
I was at your wedding, and I choke very, very easily. Anyways, let's get into some football talk. It is time for Overreaction Tuesday here on Tuesday edition of Man Hour's NFL Talk. Head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the blog section, or check out the merchandise section as well. If you guys haven't done so already, please like, comment, and subscribe, and also share this with a couple friends as well. But Combs, with this first Overreaction Tuesday, is we're going to go talk about some Aaron freaking Rodgers. As you know, the Jets have been high pursuit of Aaron Rodgers, and basically what they're saying is that the asking price for Aaron Rodgers is too high, and therefore trade talks have stalled a little bit. So Combs, is it an overreaction that the New York Football Jets fans should start panicking and start thinking of a plan B?
No, because Aaron Rodgers always gets his way. He's done it for so long. He's going to be a Jet, and he's going to find a way to make himself a Jet, and he's going to make the Packers' lives a living hell until they make him a Jet.
See,
so there's no reason for Jets fans to panic because he's going to be a Jet.
I like your positive thinking here, but the asking price for Aaron Rodgers is a little too high. I don't know exactly what the asking price is per se, but he's going to be warranted a $40 or a $50 million contract at the end of the day. A couple first round picks, probably, and he's going to want this, and this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I do think it is a positive outlook that the trade talks have stalled on Aaron Rodgers. I do think Aaron Rodgers is going to be a draft day trade, whether it be early in the morning or when the Jets are up for their draft pick. Like, oh, we are trading our first round pick to the Green Bay Packers for Aaron Rodgers. I do think that is going to happen. However, since it is taking so long for this to happen to come to fruition, I think there's going to be another team in the mix, and that is the San Francisco 49ers. He wanted to go to the San Francisco 49ers last season before he came back and signed a 3-year deal with the Green Bay Packers. So with that being said, the 49ers are kind of in quarterback limbo right now, right? Brock Purdy has a robotic elbow. Trey Lance is coming off with a broken leg, I think it was, and they officially traded Jimmy G to, where did he go? He went to the Saints, right? No, where did he go?
Yep.
He went to the Raiders. So I think Aaron Rodgers to the San Francisco 49ers is a very, very real possibility. And the longer this drags out, the more of a real possibility that we're going to see other teams that come into the mix. Maybe the Dallas Cowboys, maybe the Miami Dolphins. There are going to be other teams coming into the mix come draft night. And so the Jets better be prepared to offer a lot because Aaron Rodgers is going to be a hot commodity come draft night.
Yeah, I can see it dragging all the way up to the draft. I don't see another team getting in other than them using another team to get him over to the Jets. Like I don't see another team squeaking in. I don't see him going to San Francisco. I see him becoming a New York Jet because that's what he wants to do.
So Mark brings up a great point here. He says, not with the draft coming up, there should be no need to panic. Is it because the Jets' plan B is to draft a quarterback, or is it because they know they're going to make a kind of like, do you think, so Combs, let me ask you this question. The longer this drags out, whose hand does it force more? Does it force the Green Bay Packers' hand more, or the New York Jets' hand more?
I think eventually it's going to force the Green Bay Packers' hand a little bit, right? Because the Jets are kind of in the driver's seat with this whole trade, and their GM is smart enough to know that. Like their GM is smart enough to be like, we know he wants to come here. We know he wants to play here. Your asking price is too high. It's either this or that, or you're going to have to deal with Aaron Rodgers for another season.
Yeah.
And what do? The Packers have no leverage in this situation whatsoever.
Yeah, and it almost seems to me that the Packers have already moved on from Aaron Rodgers. Like Jordan Love is going to be their guy 100% from what they said in the media and this and this. So I have to agree with you. I think the longer this holds out, the Jets get more and more leverage. But at the other side, other teams know this as well. So therefore, they are probably going to understand there's more leverage out there as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, the only leverage the Packers would have, and that would be a second team coming in, like the 49ers, right? So you start using that. And I don't think the 49ers are never going to pay that price. But if you put it out there that they're willing to, then you might get the Jets to bite a little bit. I just don't see that happening.
So I'm a firm believer of kind of playing the game, right? Like I like to think I'm interested in something when I'm totally not. What a team in the AFC, let's say the Miami Dolphins. Do you think they express interest so the Jets will overpay? Just because what is something that you want the most is something that somebody else wants, right? And if the Miami Dolphins express any type of interest, totally not true, but say, oh, yeah, we're interested. We'll give them this, and this. Do the Jets start to panic then?
I think if you're the Miami Dolphins, you need to actually show legitimate interest because they don't have a quarterback that's good enough to take them to that next level right now. And the Green Bay Packers, no matter what they do, everybody in this league knows that they're being held at ransom by Aaron Rodgers. Right. And everybody in this league knows that they want to go away from Aaron Rodgers. Everybody in this league knows that Aaron Rodgers wants to get away from the Packers. So the Packers are in a no-win situation. It's like we said with the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson, right? They kind of screwed themselves by adding that franchise tag. Now all of a sudden there's no value to them. Same thing here with the Green Bay Packers to an extent, because everybody knows you don't want him, he don't want you. It's time for him to leave, and they're not going to pay your asking price.
Wow, that's pretty good insights. Like, I have to agree with you on that 100%. Mark jumped in the chat here. My computer is all types of fucked up. Mark says it should be a priority for them to look forward in the draft as just a case. So, if the Jets, I mean, obviously we're going way off script here. If the Jets do not get Aaron Rodgers, do you think they do you think they draft a quarterback, or is Zach Wilson the guy still?
I don't think there's any way that, dude, if they don't get Aaron Rodgers, they're in trouble. They're not in position to trade up. They're not in position to do very much. So I think if they don't get Aaron Rodgers, they start looking towards next year, and this year is a tank year to try to get the kid from USC, Caleb Williams, I think is his name.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So that's where I think they would go with it. I don't think they'd trade up this year. I don't think you lose that draft capital. I think what you do is you possibly start. I mean, you could try going with. Man, I don't know. That's a tough question.
Yeah,
You could go with Zach Wilson, but I mean, I might throw Chris Trevler. I might say, you know what, Chris Trevler won the competition this year in the preseason. He impressed us. We're gonna see what he can give us.
Yeah, well, there are also a free agent quarterback out there. There's a couple free agent quarterbacks out there that could possibly make some moves. Teddy Bridgewater is a free agent. Your boy Jameis Winston is technically a free agent still. I don't know if he's signed with the Saints yet or not. But
you're not trying to win right now if you're the Jets, if you don't get Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, so the Jets have a very small window to win a lot of games, and that's right now. Because Sauce Gardner is going to warrant a big payday coming up in three years. Breece Hall is going to be a big payday. Their team is built to win right now. Why do you want to tank one like legit? Like, why would you want to tank this year?
Because any of those other guys you named aren't leading you into the next 5 to 10 years. Any of those other guys you named aren't a guy that you want, a guy that you're going to draft to sit behind. You know what I mean? Like, they might go out and get somebody in the second or third round in this draft that they believe in, or they might even be able to get somebody next year in the first round of the draft to sit behind Aaron Rodgers for a season. But you're not going to bring in a Jameis Winston to try to win right now, because you're not going to win with Jameis Winston. You're not going to win with, any of these other guys that are really out on the market. There's a reason why they're so out on the market.
Well, isn't Jameis Winston a top 10 quarterback in the NFL?
He was 4 years ago.
Not anymore.
It's been a long time. We've been doing this show for a long time, Buck.
Have we? Damn, it doesn't seem like that.
It's been a long time. You figure he's been out of Tampa Bay this will be his fourth season out of Tampa Bay.
Sheesh, that's crazy to think that we've known each other that long.
Yeah,
Jim
time goes by when you party naked.
Yeah, that's exactly true. Jim says, "Is Hooker on the Jets' radar?" Haven't heard. I haven't heard any quarterbacks being on the Jets' radar this draft.
If Hooker is on the Jets' radar, they should go out and get Deshaun Watson.
What? Why?
Because Deshaun Watson loves hookers.
Oh, good God. Where is my cricket sound? Because there it is right there. That was a perfect dad joke.
It was a perfect dad joke.
But no, Jim, I honestly, all the mock drafts that I have seen, right, and like all that stuff, saying that, the Jets aren't targeting a quarterback because I think they're all in on Aaron Rodgers. It's basically Aaron Rodgers or bust for the Jets, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Mark didn't like your joke either. He said, "Oh, wow." Moving on, Combs. Moving on. So the offseason is full of moves this offseason. Baker Mayfield, Jimmy G, Orlando Brown Jr., Odell Beckham Jr. The list goes on and on and on. But Combs, I got to ask you this question: Who do you think so far has made the best off-season moves?
This offseason, God, you're going to make me do it. It's been the Bears, baby. I think the Bears are the most improved team. I really do. And that's not just because I'm a Bears fan. I think I would say that from the outside looking in no matter what, because they've went out and done some things that just wow you. Like they make you really see Ryan Poles' strategy and see that it's actually working. When you get 2 linebackers for the price of 1, plus you get the draft picks that you use that you traded that linebacker for, it's a great deal in the end. Might not have been a great trade at the beginning, but it's a great deal in the end. And then you get some help on the offensive line, which you desperately needed. You get a top end wide receiver, which you desperately needed. You get to move down in the draft in a position where you can take another top end wide receiver or another top end offensive lineman. It just, to me, I don't think that there's another team out there that you could argue has improved as much as the Bears have.
Yeah, and let's just be honest, the Bears had a lot of room to grow. Like I'm not trying to dog your team by any means, but they had a lot of room to grow, and I kind of have to follow up on that. Ryan Poles is definitely killing this offseason. They're bringing in a lot of talent, right? They're bringing a lot of his guys in, and this draft I think is going to either make or break the Bears and Ryan Poles' future. But with that being said, I think one of the sneakiest, best moves in the NFL so far this offseason has to be OBJ, Orlando Brown Jr., to the Cincinnati Bengals. Because the Cincinnati Bengals already had a great left tackle. They are transferring him over to the right tackle. He's not happy about it. He has requested like a trade, but play some games, win some games, and have a lot of fun. Things will change there, right? So we spoke on this yesterday, right? We think that Joe Burrow right now has a bigger upside than Patrick Mahomes. You think that Joe Burrow is more consistent than Patrick Mahomes right now? And with that being said, what does Joe Burrow need to take that next step? He needs to be protected. He gets hit a lot. He gets sacked a lot. Adding Orlando Brown Jr. and then I forget the other guy's name, moving him over to right tackle. Plus, they got draft picks to draft some more linemen if they feel like they need some more. The Bengals might be a sneaky. They're not being sneaky, but they're going to be a good team. They are even going to be better than last year, I think, hands down.
Yeah, I think the Bengals. I don't know if they're going to be better than last year, but they're definitely getting better with Orlando Brown Jr. They're now able to protect Joe Burrow, but they've still got more work to do, I think. You know what I mean? Like they had one really good signing, but they still got a lot of work to do on that offensive line because he can't block 6 other guys that are trying to get to your quarterback.
You're right.
So while it might have been the sneakiest signing of the offseason, because I didn't think Orlando Brown Jr. was going there. I thought Orlando Brown Jr. was either staying in Kansas City. I thought he was either going to go to the Jets or to the Bears. I thought those were the 3 teams that were in on it.
Yeah.
But Cincinnati sneaking in, getting it. I mean, they overpaid for him a little bit, for sure. But it definitely helps that offensive line.
Oh yeah, 100%. And if I remember correctly, I believe the quote that Ryan Poles said is, "We are going to pay any money he wants to bring in Orlando Brown Jr." Right? I'm kind of loosely remembering there. So I wonder why he was not a Chicago Bear. Like, did they even reach out to him?
Too much money, and I'm all right with them not signing Orlando Brown for that amount of money because yes, they had a ton of money to spend, but it doesn't mean you want to see them spend it stupidly.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they've spent quite a bit of the money. They've got a lot of money still left. They're not done. They've said they're not done. And you've still got the NFL draft to go, which you're still going to have to pay those guys too. So I like where they're going with it, and I'm all right with them not sending Orlando Brown for that much money. I think any fan base is okay with them not signing Orlando Brown for that much money. And the Bengals fan base, I'm sure, is happy that they went and spent that money. But you all, like I said, you have to remember they need more than just Orlando Brown.
Right.
They need a couple more pieces on that offensive line.
Yeah, and we'll see how they do in the draft. Javier, jump in the chat. What's up, Javier? Hope you're having a great day. He says Dak is better than Matt. Of course, Dak is better than Matt Ryan. 100% on that. Mark is saying that Bears need a line for sure. They keep that boy running around for his life. Just saying. Yeah. Justin Fields running for his life, always.
Well, yeah, and Justin Fields has a very good knack of escaping pressure. They have a decent start to the offensive line as well. I mean, I know that people will look at, Braxton Jones as a guy who just didn't pan out yet, right? But you also have to remember that he was really one of very few bright spots on that offensive line last year. I believe he only allowed one sack. The problem with Braxton Jones was he couldn't stay away from getting penalties. And you've also still got Tevin Jenkins, who, when healthy, which is another question mark, is really, really good. Cody Whitehair still there. I know he's old. He's getting very old.
Wait, Cody Whitehair from the Kansas State University? My man.
From the Kansas State University. Correct.
State University.
But they still need another left tackle. They still need another left guard. You probably need a better center than Lucas Patrick.
Cody Whitehair played center in college. Move him over.
You could. I mean, that's been a talk. But there's a couple pieces that you need. For me, draft first round, number 9 pick. You know me, Buck. I still want them to go wide receiver.
Yep. They need that number 1 receiver.
They do. I know. You get DJ Moore, and DJ Moore. Like, we've talked about it before. If DJ Moore's first 5 years were with the Bears, he would lead them in every offensive receiving category
right
in their history. That's saying something, right? So I want another piece to take over for DJ Moore once he starts aging, which will happen quickly in the NFL. I want a Quentin Johnson or a Jackson Smith and Jigba. Those are the types of guys that I want. I believe they're probably going to go offensive line, but wide receiver is where I want them to go.
So, can you hear me? All right, I switched microphones. Yeah. With that being said, as the Bears do need offensive line help, what Justin Fields excels at very, very well, Combs, is not taking solid hits. Like that is what separates Justin Fields from a Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson gets hit square a lot. Yes, he's shifty. Yes, he's fat, but he gets hit square a lot. Look at all the fields that Justin Fields has taken the last couple seasons. He very rarely gets hit square. It is usually like an ankle tackle or maybe a pushed out of bounds, that type of situation.
And the majority of the hard shots that he's taken have been after the whistle.
Right. It was so as much as the Chicago Bears need offensive line help, I think you are right. I think they need to go like a receiver first, just because Justin Fields can survive a couple more years without a great offensive line in front of him. Build deeper in the draft. Get your prolific receiver, build some of the defensive side of the ball, and then worry about offensive line in either free agency next year or 4th, 5th, 6th round picks.
Well, not only that, but I mean, having weapons and having solid weapons that are actually threats will make your offensive line perform better.
Right.
I mean, it will make your offensive line look better because you're able to get the ball out a little bit quicker. You're able to hit your routes. If you have a decent run game, which I do like the running backs that they've added, I think that you start getting into a spot where your offensive line looks a lot better because your offense is performing better.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think you can improve your offensive line by improving your receiving core because you are already a really good running team. I mean, they were a top 5 running team in the league last year. Now you've got passing weapons, especially if you add, like I said, a Quentin Johnson or Jackson Smith and Jigba. You add one of those two guys, your offensive line all of a sudden starts performing better.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and jump back into the comments here. Jim says, as much as I hate to say it, the Chiefs cutting people, not like Hill, to prove they don't need them to win. I think that's a move without signing. At the same time, Jim, you still want Frank Clark. You still want a good lineman like Orlando Brown Jr. Like, just because the Chiefs can do it, I wouldn't necessarily tell them to do it, right? I mean, yes, you can be better by subtraction like they did with Tyreek Hill, but this year I think not having Frank Clark, not having Orlando Brown Jr., not having receiver that they let go, Cole Hardman, I think that's going to come back and bite him in the ass. To be honest, Jim, what are your thoughts, Combs?
So it's like the Patriots, right? Like the Patriots had a plug-and-play system. I'm not so sure that you have a plug-and-play system in Kansas City, and I think that's a dangerous slope to walk. If you're hoping that your head coach is just as good as a Bill Belichick, that's a lot of ask. And I know Andy Reid is a really good head coach. I'm not taking anything away from Andy Reid. I just don't think that that's something you want to walk through because eventually you're going to get caught up.
Yeah.
It's very hard to do. We've seen it with the Patriots over the years, but the Patriots also had the greatest quarterback of all time.
True.
And then when he left, they've looked pretty pedestrian since then. So it's a dangerous slope to walk. You might have the greatest quarterback in the game right now. I just don't know if you want to try that road. And I don't know if that's necessarily a road that they're trying to go down.
Well, and just because you have the greatest quarterback in the NFL, why would you want to risk, like this? Like, why do you want to risk having a plug-and-play system when you have the opportunity to keep those players, right? Yes, I mean, like, Frank Clark is still a free agent, like, out there, and he said openly that he wants to be in Kansas City. Now, why not, blow him a offer? The worst thing he can say is like, no, I feel disrespected, whatever, and like, can they counter you, right? Meet in the middle, somewhere. Or Orlando Brown Jr. said he wanted to be in Kansas City. Now, is this all fluff? It could be. They could be like, oh, you know what? I'm saying this just to make the people happy, but truly they want to get paid. But even though you have a plug-and-play system, which I think the Kansas City Chiefs do, at least on the offensive side of the ball right now, I wouldn't necessarily test the limits here because we said it last night. We expect the Kansas City Chiefs to be in the AFC Championship game every year. We expect Patrick Mahomes to throw for 5,000 yards. We expect him to win 13, 14, 15 games every season. The minute they go 9-8, 10-7, oh, what's going on in Kansas City? Andy Reid has lost his touch. Out with Andy Reid, fire him. We need Eric Bieniemy back. Yada yada yada. Right?
Yeah, no, and Frank Clark still being a free agent is kind of beyond me, right? Like, he's a top end defensive end.
Many people have put him at his best defensive end.
He's definitely the best defensive end available.
Right.
I know a team here in Chicago that could use him.
Yeah.
And that still has some money to spend.
And you guys don't have gun laws up there either, so he'll be fine. Well, because he has off the field issues. You remember the last 2 summers he's been caught with AK-47s in the back of his car doing like 100 mile an hour in California. I mean,
Right.
you can do that in Chicago all you want. It'd be perfectly fine.
It's true, and you get away with it.
Yeah, Mark. I'm glad Mark is in here today. Love seeing some new names pop up and like in there. He says Orlando Brown Jr. was a punk for that move. Do you think Combs or Orlando Brown Jr. was a punk for going to the Cincinnati Bengals?
I'm assuming Mark is a Chiefs fan,
It looks like it.
and he's upset by the fact that Orlando Brown left. I mean, they overpaid to get him, Mark. I mean, can you really fault the guy for going where the money's at?
No.
And it's not like he went to a bad team. He went to a team that is going to be competing with the Kansas City Chiefs to go to the AFC title game year in and year out over the next 5 to 10 years.
Right.
So I can't really blame the guy for going to Cincinnati. I mean, if somebody offered you all that money, Mark Lewis, to become a Cincinnati Bengals fan, I'm pretty sure we could find you in orange and black next year.
Oh, exactly. It's like it is all about business at the end of the day. The only thing I do not like about the Orlando Brown Jr. move is the way he spoke like that post Super Bowl. This is the greatest person ever. Yada yada yada. I don't ever want to leave. And he said that multiple times after that. So like it wasn't just the heat of the moment. So
right.
I can kind of see it being a smack in the face to the Kansas City Chiefs fans saying, hey, this man said he wanted to be here. He said he wanted to retire here, yada, yada, yada. And then
money talks, man.
2 weeks later, he's in Cincinnati, the team that we played, the last 2 seasons in the AFC Championship game. Like, I can see it. So, with that, before we head out, with that being said, is the Kansas City Chiefs versus Cincinnati Bengals going to be the next Patriots-Colts type of thing? Like the winner always goes to the Super Bowl?
There's a couple of other teams that are going to have something to say about that, right?
Don't say the Buffalo Bills.
You feel like the Buffalo Bills are going to be a part of that conversation over the next few years anyway. You also feel like maybe even the Jacksonville Jaguars are trending in that direction.
They are. Very good team.
I'm not a big believer in their quarterback, but I think that they might be trending that way. And then again, if the Chargers can ever put together a healthy season, they might have something to say about it.
True. Let's not sleep on the Raiders either. They're making some really good moves.
No, you can sleep on the Raiders. They're the Raiders.
They are good for 8 weeks of season, and that's about it.
They're good for about 8 minutes this season.
8 minutes? No, 8 games. They're really good for 8 games.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are. I pushed the wrong button. In the show, Combsy.
Man, our nation. Rise up.
Oh, forgot something real quick. Sorry. BetStamp. BetStamp, guys. Head over to betstamp.app/groups. Promo code MANHOUR. Get yourself some free bets. Some free money. Expedia of bet stamping.
My bet yesterday won you some money if you went with it.
Yeah. Do you have a bet for the day?
I haven't had a chance to look through, but here, let me hop on it real quick. I usually find them pretty quickly. How about the Chicago Cubs plus 1.5 at DraftKings? It's a minus 175. I would take that. I would take the plus 1.5. I think they lose the game today, but I think it's only by a run. And I might even play the Seattle Mariners on the money line against my Cubs, unfortunately, at a plus 107.
I like that. I'm going to type into my BetStamp right now and do it. Now send us out.
Man, our nation. Rise up again.